I'm Meenakshi Shedde, programmer with the Toronto International Film Festival. And here with me today is Lakshmipriya Devi, the director of Boong, the fantastic Manipuri film that had a very warm reception at its world premiere last night. It's in the Discovery section and also for Next Wave, which is for children and young adults, but completely universal. What does it feel like to be here with your very first Devi feature?
I was very nervous before coming, but the moment I reached the street and saw the whole atmosphere, it was like being in, on a campus.
Oh.
It was just so wonderful, and like how people were queuing up to watch movies from 8 in the morning. It was very heartening to see that, and it's been just fabulous.
So lovely. What did you make of the reception to the film at its world premiere last night?
It was overwhelming. It was more than what I expected, because I mean, when I made this, I didn't know who all were even going to watch it. So it was completely overwhelming for me, and that even though the subject, not the subject per se, but the setting is it's kind of alien to most people who don't know where Manipur is. It's a largely ignored and very less represented place. So story from there and the setting from there, and like how everyone was kind of reacting to it quite naturally as they should. So it was lovely to see that. I didn't expect that kind of a reaction. So it was nice the way the film was received.
They also asked a lot of questions, so they were really plugged in and they really got it, which was lovely.
Yes.
I wanted to ask if there was something in your personal experience, or maybe your family history or something, where the roots of this film and the ideas lay, because it's very beautifully fictionalized, but it has very powerful, important messages about friendship, about inclusiveness, and given the ethnic strife especially, it's a very warm picture about hope and stuff. So where did that come from?
Yeah, so like I spoke last night also, it was about, there was this family story about a absentee great-grandfather who was in exile in Myanmar.
Oh.
So there were all these, everyone had a different take on him. His story had become like a folklore in our house.
Oh.
So it always fascinated me as a child, because when adults talk, they think that the children are either deaf or they don't
not
understand.
Getting it.
So a lot of information would be there, but so it was my kind of when I reconnected back to my roots few years back, because of something that happened in my personal life, and reconnected back very deeply, like all these conversations started happening again with my family, and it opened up a lot of questions. One was about him. That was just a thread, but the other thing was about like the film deals also with the insider-outsider divide, which is something which I have gone through since ever since I left Manipur to study. So because I look different from the rest of the people who come from mainland India, so there was always this feeling of being treated as an outsider. And eventually I obviously overcame that, but I don't know, it was like just when reconnecting with my family and the place, it just opened up a lot of emotions, as well as it was like a deep introspection also. And this film came as a result of it. It was like a kind of a closure for me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And coming and just accepting after that.
Sure.
Like it was such a cleanser.
Like a relief in a way. Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So Boong is primarily in a line. It's basically about a young boy, a schoolboy who's raised by a single mom, and it's a story and a missing dad, which is kind of what she alluded to, and how the boy goes looking for him to unite his family. But it's about a lot of other deeper issues in a very tender and very delicate way. You have coming from all the way in Manipur in the northeast, you've been working for something like 17 films and series over 20 years. So there's a huge body of work that she has behind her before making her debut feature Boong as a first assistant AD and a number of other roles. And she's been working with the top two women in Bollywood, which is Zoya Akhtar and Reema Kakti. And how far does your relationship go back with them, and how did you get to meet them?
So Rima is my Rakhi sister.
Oh,
Yeah, I've been tying Rakhi to her since I was 10 years old. We
oh,
were
that
in
is
the
lovely.
boarding school together.
Okay.
And she's extremely
So in school, when you
yeah,
were in
yeah,
school,
yeah.
okay.
She's extremely protective about me, and she pushes me. She pushed me to write. That's how this script also came
Wonderful.
about. Otherwise, I would have been just like lazing around as usual. Yeah, and through Rima, I met Zoya because the first Hindi film I worked on was Lakshya,
Yeah, Laksh, which goes
Yeah.
back so far
where
back.
Rima was
yeah.
the first AD, Zoya was the EP, Farhan was the director, Ritesh was the producer. So
Oh, all
yeah.
the top guns in Bollywood, all at one go.
It's I think yeah, it's 20 years I've known the Excel gang is, and with Rima is nearly 40 years. It'll be 40 years I think
Fantastic.
next year. Yeah.
So there is really history here before her debut feature. So it's very, very special for us to have a Manipuri film, first of all, because there's not so many from the younger generation other than, say, Hawan Pavan Kumar that's been at A-list festivals. And with her very first feature, a woman director, being at TIFF is really a matter of great pride for us. Tell me, what was it about? What were the elements in your story? How did it evolve from your first draft till what it actually became? What were the things that were really important to you? Because for me, one of the many things, other than the inclusivity and the ethnic strife and how one might overcome it, it's really a very kick-ass feminist film to me. And it's really taking on the patriarchy and saying, being impatient with it, which I really liked. So where did all those elements come from?
So the first draft is very close to what the film is
Okay.
now. Yeah, the second draft was actually quite different because I had a lot of not different, but I had a lot of political angles in it, and how Manipur is like rife with buns and curfews and stuff like that. But somewhere it was taking away from the story of the boy.
Right.
So in that the place was more important than the story of the character. So I
You
went
went
back
back.
to it was I just took out all the frills and kept it a simple story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
and
moving.
and everything in the movie is actually more or less from my personal experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I actually had to dig, but even though those experiences were painful, I didn't want it to be like that in the film
Right.
because I always look at things with a lens of humor. I mean, like
that actually
the
makes it
initial-
delicious
yeah.
and acceptable.
The initial reaction for me is like if I react with pain or anger or I'm upset. But when I look back at it, I always find something funny in it. So I think that's what
That's beautiful.
That's what I think I try to do with the film also because especially when you come from a place which is very troubled,
Sure.
one is expecting to be told like some sob stories.
Yeah.
And I myself am not such a great consumer of short stories. I want to know about
Sure.
how how there's a happy life beyond that sadness.
Absolutely.
So I hope I've been able to do that in
Absolutely.
some way. Yeah.
So I would like to ask actually if, we know that the Northeast in general is troubled, but Manipur specifically so, especially since last year the clashes between the Metis and the Kukis and many other ethnic groups. So was it very deliberate to address a story set in a political background, but deliberately using children so that it diffuses the maybe tension in a way, but allows you to convey what you want in a more disarming way?
Yeah, it was completely deliberate because
Okay.
I studied mass communication at Jamia, and my puppetry teacher who was
Puppetry teacher?
yeah,
Oh.
excellent, Varun Narayan. He used to teach us that how puppets are so good with when you as a tool to communicate like very heavy subjects that people can't digest.
Wow.
So so children are is almost like that in a human form because they're
Beautiful.
innocent and so you don't have a block when they're telling you something. You don't think that it's a lecture or
There's no
stuff like-
agenda there.
Yeah, so you take it
As
better.
it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that was,
That was
yes,
wonderful.
100% deliberate, and I also gravitate towards writing children's stories because I think most of my deepest experiences was also what I had as a child, right?
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell us what about the challenges of working with a child protagonist who's really the main thing, and also Bala Hijam. So Bala Hijam, who plays the mother Mandakini, the single mother, and the boy Gugun Kipgen are just absolutely marvelous, and we're missing them terribly not being
Yeah.
here, but they really are the stars and really carry the film on the shoulders, although it's an ensemble film. Tell me about the challenges of your having your first debut feature as with a child as the main protagonist, but also because I understand that he's kooky but is matey in the film, and there's lots of layering that we need not get on the visuals alone. Tell me about the challenges, please.
So the thing is that because Gogun has never faced the camera before, but he's extremely confident. That was
Yes.
the thing why I cast him, because he is fearless,
He's very
spontaneous,
bindas, yeah.
and he was not scared like with all the crew around and thing. Yes, definitely. There's he's not an actor, so
Yeah.
there's certain things I think, and also he's a child, so I think he did, according to me,
Magnificent.
bestest what he could. He
Yeah.
gave his all to me,
Yeah.
and it was amazing. Like most of the things I didn't, I didn't tell him how to react most of the time. I used to just give him the situation, and he would say, "Oh, okay, so this is what happened." I said, "Then how would you feel?" So
Oh, it was spontaneous.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Bala is excellent. She's done before this, like she's a very big star in Manipur.
Yeah.
She's done very different kind of roles, so I think this was like for her, pushing her boundary.
Yes.
Because she's so big there that she doesn't really need to push any boundaries.
Yeah.
But so, and my only condition was that because she's really thin, I was like, I cannot cast you if you don't put on weight.
Oh my God, you had,
Yeah.
that's one of
Yeah.
the really powerful things that I thought about her. She's really kick-ass feminist, and I say it after looking at a lot of South Asian films. But she was so ordinary in this in this Manipuri sari, quite plump, I would say. But what she stood for and how she acted and reacted to her kid and defended her kid against all the patriarchy and misogyny, that made it even more powerful than some cool,
Yeah.
New York or Bombay smoking
But if
person.
you actually look at her, she's like K-drama. She's like everything Korean. So like and she auditioned, and I thought she was so hip for the role. I said, I can't cast you if you
I
don't
see. You
put
made
on-"
her put on weight.
So I
don't
was
think
like, you
she'll
have to
forgive
put
you.
on weight, and
Okay.
then don't pluck your eyebrows. All that.
Yeah.
All that. She's just 31 years old.
Oh, she's fantastic.
She's very young. So to make her look like
Yeah.
the mother of a 10-year-old, and she really put in that effort.
She was
I mean,
fantastic.
she got out of her comfort zone, and she pushed herself. So she was a pleasure to work with. Like the
Magnificent.
Bombay crew loved her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's really. I mean,
Yeah.
we feel such a warm affection, and
Yeah.
we root for her so much, and the kid. But also, there's been so much ethnic strife, and also what you refer to in the film about threats you may have received before, during, after, about making a film with mainland India, which is objectionable, and also the objection to watching Bollywood films, which is referred to in the film. It's a very strange and particular history. But what did these threats mean to you, and how did you deal with them?
Eventually, that was the thing. One of the reasons also why I wrote this script was to overcome certain things, right?
Exactly.
So same way, when I said, okay, we're going to shoot this, it means overcoming your fear.
Oh, wonderful.
So
Wonderful.
because if I felt if I don't overcome my fear now, I'm going to be scared my whole life.
Oh, that's
So
beautiful.
and
So
life,
true.
and after COVID, who's going to cop it when? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's like, so let's do it.
That is so
Yeah.
fearless. I mean, it's really admirable. I think something we have to learn so much from. And what are your plans after this wonderful, glorious world premiere? Are you writing something else, or what are your expectations of the film?
I started this film with zero expectations. So the
Oh.
fact that it's even reached here is like too much. So I hope more people can get to watch our small film
Yeah.
and listen to a story from Manipur.
Yeah.
I'm most happy about it if that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yes, I will write. I don't know about making a film because I'm more passionate about writing.
Yeah.
Directing was like a bonus.
Okay.
So I'll continue writing, and let's see if it becomes a film or no. I always take every day that comes.
As it comes.
Yeah.
So lovely.
Yeah.
But really, also, quick word for the producers that backed this film, which I think is so precious. It's not very common for someone in Bollywood to be backing a Manipuri film by a first-time director. No one has heard of her outside of her own team. And I'd like to acknowledge Alan McCallex from Suitable Pictures, Ritesh Sidwani from Excel, Vikesh Bhutani and Shujat Saudagar from Chalkboard.
Yeah, and actually, what's so special about this TIFF also, XL has two films, which is Superboys of Malegaon.
Yeah, the big one.
And Boong, mine.
Yeah.
And Alan has Suitable Pictures, has two films, mine and Santosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's really, I mean, it's a very good year for Indian cinema, but really particularly close to my heart that we have this really shining jewel from Manipur at this A-list festival, and so richly deserved. Thank you so much for giving
Thank
me your time,
you.
Lakshmipriya.
And I
Thank
have
you.
to
Please.
add,
Yes.
and just before we left, Vikesh Chalkboard,
Yeah.
the film they produced last year,
Yeah.
Gulmohar won the National Award for the best film.
Fantastic.
So all my
Many,
three
many, many.
producers, like, yeah, I'm so happy for them.
And we also were lucky to have last night your costume designer. Would you like to mention?
Arun was very busy. He was working on a project, a series called Scam,
Yeah.
which is amazing. And he said, okay, I'll come for 4 days and see how much I can help you. Cut to, he never went back. He became a Manipuri.
So lovely.
Yeah, he just blended in with the team from there. Like, all the clothes were from friends, and like we this thing, but he styled it, and just the color palettes, and
Yeah.
it didn't feel like it was his first time in Manipur.
Yeah.
He I mean, same for my production designer or for my DP.
Yeah.
They really soaked into the environment, because for all of them, I told them, I hate the word reference.
Yeah.
Do not ask me for
lovely.
reference.
Just go.
I said the only reference is Manipur.
Right.
So what you see in Manipur is what we are going to capture, and as real as possible, because it looks like a setup otherwise.
Right.
So even in locations, we didn't create any. It was just the way it is. When you see the film, you'll think that we have created everything. It's literally like we have pushed some stalls, come closer, like that, because we don't have money.
Yeah.
So you have to make do with whatever we have.
Right.
And the good thing is like that. I mean, I was very lucky that the creative, like HODs, like my collaborators,
Please mention
understood.
their names.
Tane Satam is the DP,
And your editor.
and editor Shreyas Beltande, who I've never met. We edited remote. He's in New Zealand.
Oh my God!
I've never
Didn't
met
meet
him. Yes.
This is what filmmaking is today.
Yeah.
But really, a quick question also about what do you expect after this film might happen in Manipur? Do you think you might get a chance to see it, or because despite the incredible strife there, it's so it's such a message of hope and friendship and love.
I was that's why particularly last night I was so happy at the screening, the 4 Manipuris who came, and that one guy
Yeah,
from
they were in the
Nagaland.
audience.
Yeah,
and one of them was called Joy.
Yeah,
What was that?
and
It was in the film.
and I was asking, because the lead Gugun is a cookie, so he learns the language for the film.
Wow.
So it's very difficult to
Meghti,
learn
the
our
dialect.
language. Yeah. So like I was very worried that how
It'll come
especially
across.
after the ethnic strife, but they loved him, and
Oh.
I just hope it's a baby step towards accepting each other again.
Yeah,
the way-
beautiful,
yeah,
but very, very
yeah,
precious. I think
yeah.
images are really powerful, and you have to give it to this lovely lady. For in a story like this about a single mother in Manipur, she brings in Madonna's Like a Virgin, and in the funniest manner possible, and again at the end sung by a transgender, which is really daring. And then you talk your border crossing. A little part of the film is actually set in Moreh, which is on the border with Myanmar. Tell us about how this Like a Virgin came.
It came from my school experience. It actually happened during
Okay.
a prayer in the boarding school.
Tell them, because we don't know what happened.
yeah. So the PT teacher was asking the boys to do a prayer, and they were really fed up of him. And one of the boys from Arunachal decided that Like a Virgin, it was really popular.
Madonna's song.
Yeah, and so all the boys went for it, and I laughed so much. I was
Oh,
like,
that was
okay,
too
this is
funny.
going to come somewhere, because in our days, like the English songs were so big.
Yeah.
Everyone had posters. Like,
Yeah.
it was so big. We would like borrow people's Walkman just to listen to music, and it's not
lovely.
like that now. Everything is on your phone, right?
Sure, sure.
That,
That
and it
friendship of music is gone in a bit.
it was so limited. We'll bite the battery, so it does, like, you can reuse again and again.
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
was
lovely.
we really bonded on music, and I didn't know anything before I came from Manipur, so it was a very big part of my growing up. Madonna,
Sure.
Michael Jackson, George Michael, Wham.
Lovely.
You know, yeah.
Last quick question. From what I know, there's really it was history in the making, and a lot of the towns where you shot Moreh and stuff are really don't exist anymore. So it's a kind of capturing something that's gone. Can you tell us about it?
It exists, but not the way it is. It's all
Sure.
in rubbles and stuff like that. Yeah. I got goosebumps after we finished shooting, and I was starting to look at the footage because knowing that those places and the people are no longer the same.
Wow.
And it's actually like the last documentation of Moreh if you look at it.
That's
And the
terrible.
filming process was like it was like documentation of the unity we had.
My God.
So yeah, it's very overwhelming, and I hope people in Manipur will watch the film for that. We get a lot of feelers from the people in the relief camp who are like the whole of Moreh is in relief camp literally.
My gosh.
And they have been asking when the film is going to be released
Oh.
because they want to have one look at their home.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
Lord.
that's,
Oh my Lord.
really
But really, the
heartbreaking.
film is really a very warm paean to friendship and love and overcoming all boundaries to cherish relationships. So, thank you very much for your
Thank
film.
you,
All the very best to
Meenakshi.
you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.